So do you use remote working in your company? And if you do, like, how do you make it work? This was like kind of a big change for me, because traditionally I've kind of always been more like kind of central based, and I guess maybe in the last like 10 years or so I've kind of started to embrace this remote working idea more and more, to the point now that all my team is remotely working. Actually, although we keep a small office in Seattle, we don't, I don't even man that office permanently anymore. It feels like a huge shift that, for me, that's happened over the last few years. And what I've loved about it is that it's been able to give like my teams, like more family time. It has allowed me to tap into a bigger resource of expertise as well, because quite often when you have kind of a regimented office structure, where it's like 9 to 5 and Monday to Friday and that type of stuff, there's a lot of people that simply they're set up, maybe they're a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home mum or something, and they just simply couldn't, they can't offer their services in that environment. But when you go to remote working and you go into using flexi time as well, all of a sudden those people become available, and it's a huge pool of people that you can pull from. And I'm starting to really see, and like in my particular companies now, certainly on the marketing agency that we have, we don't even operate standard working hours anymore. We have somebody that will obviously sort of man the phones during the day, but pretty much the entire team is a lot more flexible. And I've done that because especially when you're sort of with a marketing agency, creativity is kind of like the top thing that you want. And creativity doesn't happen between 9 to 5. It could happen at 8 o'clock in the evening, and there could be nothing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So what I've started to move to and started to encourage more and more is to, especially on the creative side, is to work when it suits you. So like sort of back in the early days, when we had contracted writers that were operating during business hours, the throughput was very low. What I did when I got rid of the time element of it, all of a sudden the productivity went up, because now it was just, I don't mind if they want to go out for the afternoon and do whatever. I mean, it's, we expect a certain amount of productivity there, and I don't care if that comes in at like 10 o'clock at night, or if it comes during 9 to 5 during the day. The point is that they're more creative. And so this whole embracing of like remote working and moving to more virtual office thing has been quite interesting. Now, I have had resistance on this, and I've had resistance from some clients, and it's been quite interesting. I would say it's kind of almost like an 80-20 split, the typical 80-20. I'd say 80% of clients that I speak to and explain kind of what's going on, they love it. And a lot of the owners actually have said that they wish they were able to do it, and they're kind of asking questions and trying to figure out whether they could do that in their business. The 20% tends to just be this very kind of set in stone type businesses, where it's like, well, and a question I literally got this morning, and this is why I'm making the video, was like, well, what happens if I need to get hold of so-and-so? Well, you can, because obviously there is email and you have their cell phones, and that's probably something I should add. What we do, we use Google Voice for any of the teams, so it's an app that they can have on their phone, so they're not having to give their cell phone numbers out, but they're able to text and take calls. And so, I kind of run things like that. But it's quite interesting. The resistance has really only been, they're worried about customer service levels, and what happens is that as the process proceeds, they realize that the customer service level is actually higher, because what you've got now is that the type of content, the type of delivery, everything is increasing that much more. So I would love to know if you're operating a business. Like I said, my marketing agency, we are fully remote now. We are, like I said, we keep an unmanned office in Seattle. We're actually going to move that to Vegas in the next month or so. But I would love to know your thoughts and your experiences on doing remote working, operating with teams at remote locations and so forth. And yeah, just let me know, put them in the comments below.